Hi guys, ZCrazyG here, and welcome back to another episode of A Year On, in which we take a look at a game that came out and that I reviewed about a year ago, just over a year ago, maybe a bit more, and we see how it's held up within this year, or maybe how it's changed through the advent of patches or DLC, and I do this off the top of my head, so do forgive me if I waffle on a bit. I'm going to try to do my best not to, but today's episode is about a game that is near and dear to my heart. This game is A Hat in Time, a game that I very boldly proclaimed when I reviewed it was my favourite game of all time, and you know what guys, it still is, there's no denying it. This is without a doubt 100% my favourite video game ever, and there are many reasons for that. So this game was a kickstarted project in about 2013, its campaign was, and it raised about £300,000. Very good, and then it sort of went on about a 4-year development cycle. In the meantime, other Kickstarters, successes happened. There was Shovel Knight, there was Ukulele, but Hat in Time sort of went under the wayside for about 4 years until it finally came out in 2017. Now, I didn't hear about it until maybe about 2016 when I saw some people play the beta versions, and I looked at it and thought, wow, that looks really cool. But because it was on PC and I didn't really have a good gaming PC at the time, and I'm mainly just a console player naturally, I thought, like, well, that looks cool, but I'll have to give it a pass. But I think it was about Gamescom 2017, they announced the game would be coming to consoles, and I got so excited then, because you know me, I love my 3D platformers. They are my favourite game genre ever, and I just love them, man. And so to have another one on the PS4, another game that harkened back to the olden days of 3D platformers, man, I was so excited, and little did I know how much I would love it. So I think it was October was the PC release. It was December 12th, I think, when it came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and I played it on PlayStation 4, and oh my God, I just fell in love with this game. A brief little summary of the story. This is a 3D platformer in which you go through chapters, levels to collect. It is a collectathon. It's a bit more in the style of Mario Sunshine and 64 and Galaxy, where you go into a world and you go and collect one main collectible. In this case, it's a timepiece, and you get different levels all within the same world, and every time you go back in, the environment has changed somewhat. So yes, a lot like Mario 64 and Sunshine. Not quite so Galaxy. Galaxy's a bit more linear in that respect. But yeah, this game is wonderful. A brief little summary of the story. A young little girl called Hat Kid, I don't know if she's an alien or not, who knows. She's flying in a little spaceship and she stops over this planet, and the mafia of the planet want her to pay a toll for travelling over, but she doesn't want to, and they don't react very well to that, and they smash a hole through her ship, and it sucks everything out, including her, and mainly her timepieces, which are these little hourglasses, and they are the fuel to her ship, so without them she can't get home, and they've been scattered all across the planet below, and now we must platform, go through levels, collect things, and do all sorts of that fun, charming 3D platformer stuff that you do in order to get her timepieces back and get back to Earth. I'm gonna keep what I love about this, because I could go on all day about why this game is so special to me and why I love it so much. I'm gonna try to keep it brief though. So, first off, I love the way it controls. I love, you got all the standard 3D platformer moves. You got your double jumping, you got the dive, you got your wall climbing, and the way you interact with the environment by, as I said, the wall climbing and the tightrope walking, and the sort of way you can sort of scuttle up walls and then climb up, and the way this all flows and connects together seamlessly to make traversing any area, it feels so satisfying, and it just controls beautifully. Like, this is, again, I'd compare it to Mario Odyssey in that sense, where all the different movesets can combine so well together to make the flow of movement feel so smooth and satisfying. It's brilliant. I love it. I love how each world in this game provides something, well, the chapters. Each chapter provides something so unique, not only in terms of its level design, but its narrative as well. Narrative isn't, like it's not hugely deep, but I love how, even though these are quite simple, each world has its own little narrative, and how they are quite simple, there is a surprising amount of thought and there is depth there, and you have to look for it, and it's just the thought that's gone into it, even though it's not the forefront. So, example, in Mafia Town, you meet this little girl called Mustache Girl, and she wants to take down the Mafia, she wants to rebel against them, and so you join her, and you become friends, and then when you finally defeat the Mafia boss, she realizes the true power of the timepieces and asks why you don't use these to help fight the Mafia, and because you can't, because it messes with time or something, and then she doesn't want to be your friend, and then there's that great thing with the friendship meter, I love it. And also in Battle of the Birds, love that chapter, absolutely fantastic. Like you got the two birds, the conductor and DJ Grooves, who each do their own films, and they're locked in this battle to who can do the best film. And the conductor, he's a sort of really sort of picky, aggressive, very pent-up little owl thing. I don't know quite, I'm not too sure what he is, but he always kind of makes the same film, these old Western train films, and it's and yet he's managed to win all these awards. I do find that quite funny, how DJ Grooves is obsessed with these sort of space and futuristically like disco-y kind of films, and you have to help them, and depending on how you star in each of their films, and depending on whose you do better in, that person wins the award at the end. And even then there's a twist, which I won't go into, but man, it's fun. And then in the Subcon Forest, you meet the Snatcher, who takes your soul, and you do all these things for him, and then he tries to he tries to refuse you, but no, you fight back, and it's. And when you look into when you do the time rifts, and you get the little ponds, and you get the storybooks, you can see the backstory. There is actually some thought put into this, and it's actually there's a good amount of narrative in this game. It's not the forefront, but each one provides something very different, and the level design is as I said, it provides a different experience level design wise. Mafia Town is an open plane, you can go and explore, and when I first got the game, I loved just exploring Mafia Town. The way it's designed, it's very layered, and it incorporates so many different types of platforming challenges, all within this very compact area, and it allows you just to get used to the controls, and this is a great area just to really let the free flowing interconnecting just the controls, how you can it teaches you how to conjoin them together by offering so many instances and where you can use each of your moves and showing you how you can use them together seamlessly. I love how Mafia Town does it. It's great for the first world and how it does that and just introduces you to the whole gameplay style. Battle of the Birds is more linear but a lot more focused. It focuses more on these sort of concept-based levels where exploring isn't the idea, it's more about focusing on a certain objective, and it does it very well. And then in the Subcon Forest, you've got this very flat open plain with sort of like the trees above you, and you have all these different little... It's more open-ended, shall I say, and you don't need to go around and explore. It's just there if you want to. And how the Alpine skyline provides this big open space, and there's these 4 different peaks, each one based around a certain type of platforming challenge. Each one provides something different. Just an example of why I love this game. Each different world feels like a different experience, and it creates such a great amount of variety. I also love the different collectibles in this game. The ponds, collecting them feels so satisfying, the little sound effects, it's brilliant and you can use them to unlock more chapters or to buy new badges. I love collecting the yarn to make new hats, and each one has a different ability, and switching between them is so seamless, it's brilliant. Also the relic tokens, which you can use to spend on like a little slot machine to give you more cosmetic items, just to change your look, and it's really nice you can do that, and how you can get different hat aesthetics is really cool. And then you've got the actual relics, which then unlock the the time rifts, which are these great, very Mario Sunshine-esque you're in like this little void, and they're just very simple point A to point B platforming challenges with these sort of, with a certain concept in mind for each one. And they're a bit more just a simple, focused platforming challenge, those ones are, and they're still great. And I also love just the charm and the sheer sense of character this game oozes. Hat Kid is fucking adorable. Like that's one thing you'll say is this game uses the tagline, it's advertising cute as heck, and it really is. And then all the different mafia goons, DJ Grooves and the conductor are brilliant as always. The train owls, the penguins, the core agents, the Snatcher voiced by Youngtown. He's fucking amazing. He has so much fun with his voice acting. Also the Alpine skyline doesn't have as much character, but there's still a lot that comes through these little sort of hooded figures who go like, welcome, and all. I love it. I also love the look of this game, the art style. It feels very reminiscent of Zelda the Wind Waker. It's very cartoony, very cel shaded, and it's not the most graphically detailed art style, but because it's a much simpler art style. But what they do, even though it's quite a simple one, they do all they can with it to really allow so much colour and environments to pop up. This is one of the most colourful and just full of life games in terms of its visuals I've ever seen. Like Mafia Town in itself is just a freaking rainbow, and even when the colour palette isn't great, they still manage to make it look brilliant. Like the Subcon Forest, it's very dark and oppressive, yet it still has this very quirky feel to it as well. It's just brilliant. The music. Oh, the music is good. Pascal Michael Stifel, had never heard of him before this. Love his stuff now. My God, the music is so good. It does a good mix of orchestrated pieces and sort of synthetic, what would you call it? Symphasia, I don't know what it is. It's that sort of, a lot of indie games use it. I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but I think you know what I mean. There are also some guest composers. The only one I can think off the top of my head is Grant Kirkhope. He did the main hub theme of the ship, and it's just brilliant, man. And what else can I say about this game? I love how it tries so many different ideas. It's so creative. Like I love some of my favorite levels in the game. Murder on the Owl Express. Holy shit, I love that level. That's probably my favorite level in the game. Brilliant. It's a great gameplay wise. Like, you have to it's a good platforming challenge where you have to figure out some good stealth sections, some good platforming, as well as this great dark comedic tone to it. Oh, and it's fantastic. And I also love Queen Vanessa's mansion. Holy shit, that is actually very intense and quite scary, if I must admit. I just love all these different concepts, and it's brilliant. It just oozes with charm and personality in both its level and game design, and in the visuals and presentation, and the narrative and the characters and everything. It's just pure brilliance. I love it so much. It ticks all the boxes for what a great 3D platformer, or just what a great game in general, should do. I really don't want to go into too much detail because I know I'll just go on. But let's mainly focus on the new stuff. The Seal the Deal DLC is the big main thing that's happened since launch, the big addition, as it were. Now, for my second playthrough of this game, I played it on the PC using the DualShock. I got the DualShock 4, the USB adapter, and I played the PC version because I bought the collector's version of this game, which is the N64 styled box with the colourful manual. Love it, and I got a Steam code with it, because I had to get it. Even though I already own it on PS4, I had to get it because I love this game so damn much. And I played it for the PC the first time because, well, the DLC was only on PC, unfortunately. I think it will come to consoles eventually. Here's hoping. I know it's coming to the Switch, and that looks like it might be getting DLC, so we'll see. Seal the Deal. So the two main aspects of this DLC are the new chapter, the Arctic Cruise, and the new Death Wish mode. So the Arctic Cruise it's a really nice little chapter. I will probably say it certainly stands by the other chapters, and so what it's about is that you sort of stow away as Hackett on this Arctic Cruise ship. It's on like a holiday cruise, which is run by this really grumpy walrus captain, and it's all managed by these really, they're just purposely playing up the adorableness this time. They know full well what they're doing. These cute little seals that are pretty terrible at running the ship, but all the passengers on the cruise are the characters you've come to meet over the game, and I think as a final chapter, it works really well together, just to have all these characters come together on this ship. Like, you can see the conductor with his grandchildren, he just leaves them and just goes straight to the bar. I love that. You can see all the train owls, the penguins, all the mafia goons, some of the subcon forest dwellers. It's just brilliant to see all these characters come together, and it brings a lot of the personality all into one place. And the design of it is great as well. It's a little bit maze-like, I will at first, but what I love is that the first act of this chapter has you explore the ship to try find timepiece shards, and it's a great way to let you explore the ship. The only shame about this chapter is that it's only got 3 acts, which is a bit disappointing. I think they could have got a lot more out of it if I'm being honest, but I still enjoy it. What they do with it is fantastic. I love the second one where you're going around constantly doing chores within the time limits, and the third one where you purposely crash the ship so you can get a timepiece, and it causes everyone to drown, and you have to go and save everyone from the sinking ship. It's Again, there's just like Hat Kid's personality. I love that, it comes through. And of course you got the other time rifts of it, and it's brilliant. And again, it's just another solid chapter to stand amongst the other solid chapters. And again, it doesn't only bring its own personality with the whole cruise shipper vibe, with the seals and the grumpy walrus character, but I love how it also combines a lot of the charm of the previous chapters with all these characters coming back and just populating the vessel. I think it's brilliant. Now the next big addition, Death Wish. Man, this is... woof. I've not got very far into Death Wish, and there's a good reason for that, because it's bloody difficult. So what this is that once you beat the Snatcher in the Subcon Forest, he then comes into your ship and he'll offer you these series of challenges. And what these are sort of harder versions of challenges that have already been done throughout the game, or slightly newish challenges, and they are insanely difficult. Like, these are challenges intended for very good players, and it's called Death Wish because you will die a lot, and it's not necessary. You don't have to do these challenges, but if you do, it does reward you justly. Like, so the more you progress, I think you unlock more aesthetic, it's more cosmetic stuff. You unlock more outfits, more sort of different aesthetics for your hats, more color palettes. I think through this you can also unlock more, you can unlock the nostalgia badge. I still really want to get that. I don't know when you unlock it within here, but I really want to get that. That's when you make Hat Kid look all low poly, and you can make the environment look a bit sort of, it sort of makes the resolution go a bit, it makes it more reminiscent of an N64 PlayStation 1 game, and I think it's brilliant. And man, it's so hard. Like, I've barely even completed some of the Mafia Town ones, because it just is that difficult. And I don't claim to be that good of a Hat in Time player, but it is fucking brutal. But it's there for the hardcore crowd, and I think it's a great addition. It provides a significant and hefty extra piece of content, and to make it, but like, because this isn't just like, oh, it's just levels recycled. No, these are levels designed with, they're designed to be much more so they have different conditions in mind, different things are changing just to make them a lot more tricky, more sort of tactical enemy placements. And on top of that, each of them have like different medals, so you can also complete these under certain circumstances, like complete it within a time limit, or don't let this certain thing happen to you, or do it without touching any enemies, like just to add that extra level of content and replayability. I think it's brilliant. It's a great thing for those who are such hardcore fans and are really good at the game, and it's just fantastic. It's a great addition to the game. Yeah, I think the DLC is great, and the game still holds up fantastically. There is no word I can describe that sums up how much I love A Hat in Time. Although I think if I had to try and sum it up the best way possible, in the briefest way, is that it's the game that reminded me of why I love gaming so much. 3D platformers are my favourite genre, and they're the genre that got me into gaming, and it was something about the whimsical charm, the great controls, and just the sheer sense of wonder, joy, and it's gonna sound corny, but magic that you feel when you play these games. And A Hat in Time reminded me of that, and was the epitome of that, but did something so wonderfully creative and brilliant in its own right, and there's nothing more I can say. It is a masterpiece in my opinion, and I don't think there's going to be anything that can top it unless Gears for Breakfast maybe do a sequel. But in the meantime, I think they are focusing on, like they've already said, there is a second DLC coming, and I cannot wait for that. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think it will stand the test of time in the future. It is just fantastic. There's no other game like it in my opinion. I think it has so much charm, personality, but it's just a fantastically well designed and fun to play game within that, and I could go on. I'd just be repeating myself here, and even with and the DLC is great. It's just more of the great stuff, and only furthers to make this game even more brilliant, and just solidifies how perfect of an experience it is. It is still, without doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, in fact, my favourite game of all time, and until something better comes along, it will not be shifted, and I am sure of that. And so yeah, that is it, and thank you very much for watching everyone, and please do feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it. I will hopefully be doing a main Z Crazy G episode before the end of the month, here's hoping, and yeah, I have nothing else to say. That was a year on my favourite game ever, A Hat in Time, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.